Hi everyone and welcome back to Yorkshire Railway and welcome back to another model railway review. Today we're going to be looking at another steam locomotive, this time from the LMS, and it is by Hornby, which is this, the Hornby LMS Princess Royal Class Duchess of Kent. So this is number 6212, and if we flip you over to the back, focus that in a bit more. Pause and read if you want to read a bit of history on it. It is classed as a 7P, and there is the technical data. So this is tooled from 2018, so a relatively still new tooling. And if you want to get one for yourself, it is code R3854. Anyway, without further ado, let's get her out of the box, if I can. There we go. So lovely artwork on the sleeve. There's a fair bit of weight in the box as well. Just lift the block of ice out. And we've got, a nice hefty booklet. Princess Royal. I think I've been given two booklets in mine. They both read the same thing. I'll double check that. There we go. Right, so we've got lubrication points, pretty standard stuff. The accessory kit, so not too much accessories to fit to this. Tender assembly, so it does look like the DCC chip is in the tender. Body removal. Looks fairly straightforward. Nice to see some screws on there, so yeah. Close coupling, and then yeah, we've got the DCC chip and sound chip in the tender, and then brake rigging fitted there. So yeah, pretty standard stuff. Just double check. That does look, yeah, identical pieces of paper. So yeah, if anyone wants a spare, message me. But yes, without further ado, let's have a look at the locomotive. So, interesting to note, we've got a spare wheel. I presume that is for the pony truck because they put like a dummy one in. But if you do run more wider curves, like from radius 3, I think in radius 4, I think you need wider than that to run these. I'm not too sure, but yep, you can fit a more realistic pony truck wheel, and that will allow you to have the flanges on it, so it'll run a bit more realistically. And then we also have a bit of detailing in there as well. So yeah, we've got some pipe work, some steps, a front coupling, and the brake rigging as well. So yeah, nothing too major in that. Let's get it out of the block of ice and we'll take a look. So interesting to note, it is a very hefty locomotive, which is what we like to see. Let's pull that over there for a second. There we are. Oh yes, she is a very hefty loco. Very, very heavy chassis. Plastic running plate, so yeah, there must be a hell of a lot of weight in there. So yeah, in terms of detail wise, yeah, very, very lovely detail on here. We've got these sort of valves that are on the side, pipe work, and the handrails as well. They look very, very nice. Love the Duchess of Kent name crest there in the middle, and there's some lovely lining on that as well, above where the wheels come up. And on the cylinders here as well. Some great pipe work here that just goes under the boiler. I have to put it down just to move her, she's really heavy. Let's get some lovely fat buffers. They are sprung, that one just was a bit sticky. But yeah, it's alright now. That's not too bad of a problem. Looks like the pipework's already fitted on the front, which is nice because usually we have to fit that ourselves. And we've got the lamp brackets on the front as well. Lovely number printing on the smoke box door there, and the handrails as well. Chimney, yeah, you can't see down that like you could on the 01. So I did reveal the flywheel in that. We'll move to the tender, because the tender does deserve some love. Look at that lining on that. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. I love the riveting on there. You can feel that texture really, really nicely. On top of the roof as well, there's a few rivets, but there's no joining line between where the mould of the boiler, so that is nice to see. The coal load is very impressive. I mean, look at that. That's really, really nice and realistic, although I probably will take it out eventually and fit realistic coal to it. I'll flip you around to the back. God, there's loads of detail on this. It's got to be one of the most detailed locos I've looked at. Rear of the tender, you see the steps, you've got the pipe work, sprung tender buffers as well. And on top of there we've got some pipe work and what looks to be like a water tank as well. If you can see, just inside the cab, some lovely painted details down there. Some steps, sorry, not steps, seats for the crew. Yeah, and some separately fitted parts looking like that as well with some of the handles. So yeah, that is an incredibly detailed model. I'm blown for words, really. Lovely coloration of the maroon of the LMS as well. It definitely stands out among a lot of the other locomotives that I have in my collection. But anyway, let's get her down onto the track and we'll see how the performance you know, goes with the looks of it, because it definitely looks the part. Does it perform as well as it probably should do? Okay, so we've got the Princess Royal class down onto the track, and I think you'll all agree with me. She definitely looks stunning, but let's see how that she performs. So in the forwards direction, we'll see if we can get a bit of a crawl out of her. I don't remember her being this noisy. There we go, so she just starts into life, but at a very slow controlled speed. So yeah, not necessarily a crawl. Although in reverse can do a crawl, that's very strange. You can probably see on the screen, I know the locomotive isn't on the screen at the moment, but she is moving. I hate that noise, so I'm just going to speed her up a little bit. As you can see at slow speed, she's absolutely fantastic. It's just in that forwards running direction. I've had a few of these from Hornby now that, crawling wise, they're not brilliant on the crawl going forwards, but in reverse seem absolutely fine. But I guess at the end of the day, she is a passenger locomotive, so let's see how she does at like a relative running speed. I don't think that's too bad. Oh, I did notice as well. See, stopped dead, but she carried on running a little bit, so she has definitely got a flywheel in there, which is nice to see. Let's see if we can get that again in reverse. There we go. So yeah, definitely a nice big flywheel probably in there. So yeah, bit of shame about the crawl, but at the end of the day, she's a passenger locomotive, so you're not really going to be doing that slower speed. And the slow speed that she can do, I'd say that is acceptable to run into a station and come to a stop. So yeah, I don't think that's dreadful. But yeah, what I'll do is, because she has been sat in the box for a while, I'll give her a run round and let's have a little quick run in again, just to get you know, some dust off the gears, as it should say. Yeah, and then I'll come back and I'll test the performance again in a little bit. I've just done this so you can see as well. We have a flickering firebox. Apologise about the shakiness. I'm doing this one-handed whilst holding the locomotive, but yeah, we've got a flickering firebox inside. Lovely to see. Okay, so I've just ran her back in for 10 minutes in forwards direction and 10 minutes in reverse, just to see if we can get a bit of performance back into her from being in storage. Definitely did give her a check over as well. didn't really think that you need any lubrication or anything like that. So yeah, let's see if we can get some performance back in. Gently easing her up, just to see if there's any crawl whatsoever, and no. Same situation. There's a crawl in reverse, but there isn't a crawl in the forwards direction. So I guess not a bad thing if you're hooking up to coaches, but certainly if you run like an end-to-end layout, it's not brilliant because you'll obviously want to do that slower speed to couple up with, but not too much of a problem really. Anyway, let's get her hooked up to some coaches and we'll send her for a run around the layout with a full rake. Okay, so I've got the lovely Duchess of Kent. She's hooked up to a rake of 4 LMS coaches because that is all I have. I sort of stated in the past once that what I try and do is when I buy a rake of coaches for a specific locomotive, I try and start off for about 4 or 5 and then I'll add 2 as possible. But I've just noticed that because these are just the Hornby Railroad LMS coaches, they have plastic wheels, so yeah, I don't think I'll be getting any more of these. I'll be looking for a better alternative. So if anybody knows any good LMS coaches, drop them down in the comments down below and I'll take a look and try and get a rake of them and do a review of them. But without further ado, let's send the Duchess on her way. There we are, lovely Duchess of Kent running around the layout. You can just see that firebox flicker as she goes past there. And yeah, although they are railroad coaches, I don't think they look particularly bad with her. Certainly a bit more on the shiny side on the roof, but yeah, definitely don't look bad at all. And because she's quite a long locomotive as well, like even with the 4 coaches, it definitely looks a long train, although it's only 4 coaches. So yeah, I mean, I just absolutely adore this locomotive. It is a genuinely really nice looking loco. Looks great on the layouts, the decoration is absolutely fantastic, and it's even better that it has that firebox flicker. I think that is going to be a more staple thing with a lot of locomotives going forwards, or at least it should be. Alright, so time for some ratings. So this is for Hornby's LMS Princess Royal Class Duchess of Kent. And starting off her performance, similar to the Class 01 that I reviewed recently, I've awarded it 3.5 stars. You know, it's absolutely fantastic at a slow speed, it's fantastic at a regular running speed, but the crawl is rubbish. And I don't know if it's something to do with the gears or whether they use the same motor, but they can't do a crawl forwards, but they can in reverse, which yeah, I just think is baffling. So yeah, I don't really know why it is like that. Obviously, this is a little bit less noticeable with the Princess Royal because it is a passenger locomotive. You're not really going to be doing a crawl as such, but it's nice if the locomotive has the capability to do so. Moving on to the detail, this is where the rating gets bumped up a little bit more. I've given it 5 stars, simply because this is one of the most incredibly detailed models that I've absolutely reviewed in total this year. From the rivets that line the running plate, the boiler, as well as the tender. You've got the separately fitted pipework that all goes down the side, the handrails, the lamp brackets, the smoke box. Obviously, we have the tender detail as well, the really fine coal detail. We've got metal sprung buffers on both the locomotive and the tender, and we also have a flickering firebox with an absolutely incredibly detailed and painted cab. So yeah, it is absolutely fascinating in terms of a model, and I can say I really, really do like it, simply just for the detail. Livery wise, again, really, really nice lining. There isn't any paint bleed on that. The colour is a really nice satin finish, and there's no mould detail in terms of where the boiler meets up. There's no join line on that. So yeah, it's an absolutely incredibly painted model, as well as the detail as well. So yeah, they're both bumped up 5 stars. Quality, I've dropped it half a star. Now, unlike with the 01, I think that the detail and the livery bring this model up a lot more than it did with the 01. So the performance doesn't drag it down too much for the quality for me on this. As well as, obviously, like I said before, because it's a passenger locomotive, you're not going to be doing as much with a crawl. So yeah, I don't think that's as much a necessity with this model, but it would be nice if it could do that. Value, I've awarded it 3 stars. And this one is the one that pains me a little bit, because I bought this when I was getting back into the hobby. I think this was actually, I think it was about my 5th model I bought coming back into the hobby, and I paid £126 from Amazon. I think I bought it on Prime Day, and it was dropped from about 150, I think. So I thought, oh yeah, I've got a decent bargain with that. Then I've just done a quick Google, and there are some of these models, including the model that I have here with me today, that is still out there for sale. I'm not going to name any retailers as such, because I don't really know in terms of what they paid for it from Hornby, so I'm just going to relay it in terms of Hornby's cost. But having a quick look and seeing that obviously there's some models that have come out more recently but the same tooling, and you're looking at £250 plus now, which is ludicrous. Don't get me wrong, it's a very, very nice model, but how do you get £100 increase on the price when surely when it was new in 2018, I bought this in 2021. So how has it varied that much? Surely the tooling has been paid off by now, that you shouldn't have to have £100 increase. And it states it for itself, because any of the models that are £200 plus, there's loads of them still in stock. So it definitely shows that people aren't buying these models at these incredibly insane prices. So I was going to award it 5 stars because of what I paid for it, but because of what I've seen, I've dropped it down to middle of the bar at 3 stars, and part of me wants to drop it all the way down to 1, really. I know that seems really harsh, but it's just, I'm baffled by the fact that it's going for £250 plus now. It's ridiculous. Don't pay that. Wait till they're in the sale and pick one up a little bit cheaper. But that gives its overall rating of 4.2 stars. So yeah, not a bad locomotive. Could have been better, definitely. I think had the price been a lot better with the newer versions, and the performance been a little bit better, I think we could have been looking at 4.5 to 5 star locomotive here. But let me know in the comments down below, do you have one of these Princess Royal classes at home? Do you have the newer tool 2018 variants or above? Or have you got one of the older ones? That's what I'd like to know. Do you think I've been a little bit harsh or generous with this review? That's always something quite good to know, and sets up a little bit of a debate, because at the end of the day it's only my opinion, so you might have a different opinion to me, but it's always nice to have a bit of a discussion on that. So yeah, drop anything down in the comments down below. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, And if you haven't already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button to get notified when I upload new videos, and it massively helps me out. It's free to do so. So yeah, if you're not subscribed already, hit that subscribe button and I will catch you in the next video. Take care everyone. Bye bye.